Hello everyone, welcome to the recorded playthrough of Why We Fight version 1.1. This is supposed to be an update video. I was going to sort of go through all the various changes and such like that in nitty-gritty detail, but there's been a little bit of change of plans. So I thought, first of all, let's talk about the new version, and then after that we're going to go and do a playthrough video. I thought this way, we could have some folks who've played it before be able to see the changes that we've made to the game in action. And if you haven't played the game before, then this is your chance to see it shine and be a much better version of it than it initially was. So, yeah, quickly going over what we've done to it. It's mostly been a stability update. We've gotten a lot of feedback, a lot of, I suppose we've led a lot of playtests and watched a lot of people go through the game, both in terms of us leading them and also through blind playtests and seeing how they engage with the book and how easy it is to go through it. And not to mention that we found a lot of ways in which people were very creative about breaking our game. It was honestly a great thing. And it really sort of made us see where the game could be unbalanced, the places that it could become more difficult for players to be able to keep up with it, keep track of it. And doing a solo plus game is kind of a unique challenge because it's not just about you don't just have stat blocks and all the rest of it. You have to make it so that the whole game is able to be fine for anywhere between 1 to sort of 5-ish players. And so getting our heads around that whole transition, that whole ability to be able to work at low player counts and also higher player counts, just with the book as it is, was quite a head scratcher. So anyway, the point is that we took this time to really focus on refining the core system. We wanted to make it as fluid and engaging and dynamic as we hoped it would be. And with that, alongside the balancing and pruning out many mistakes. I mean, there was stuff in there from alpha tests before we somehow still in that book. So, there were all kinds of stuff in there which we just did not notice, but after so many hours of staring at a PDF and editing it and changing it, you've just become blind to it. So all these tests, all this time, it has been amazing, and we've really refined the book as best we can. So, like I was saying, rather than go into every little tiny thing that we've done, I thought it would be even better and more fun if I were to do an actual live playtest. So, yeah, I'm all set up. I'm going to get my cameras and stuff transitioned a bit, and then we'll come back and, yeah, that. Okay, so let's do this. I've got my setup here so that you're able to see everything I'm doing. I'm able to do my various writings of my my characters, my crew sheet, and I'm also going to be doing the mission journal here. So this way you're going to be able to see what I'm doing, how I'm keeping track of everything, and that way, it's going to be easier for you as well if you're going to be playing it in person. So, yeah, not to mention you get to see how badly I roll, which is always fun because I am notoriously awful at rolling. So, hopefully everyone won't die, but we'll see. So, one of the things I was thinking would be quite fun with this would be to use some characters from one of the inspirations for Why We Fight. Not so much, I suppose, the mechanics of it and that sort of thing, but more the setting. And that's the video game My Time in Portia. I really, personally, I played this for quite a long time. I really enjoyed the way it built up, the way you sort of contributed to a community and helped take on the challenges that it faced, and the sort of issues that arose over time. and it was all very much a whole solar punk kind of setup. You had the balancing act between the folks who wanted sort of science and all that sort of thing, and the folks who wanted things to be very much peaceful and progressive in terms of focused on its plant life and everything else. And the Why We Fight campaign version that we're working on very much focuses on this kind of thing as well. It's got that whole community structure, you're building that up, you're trying to make that better, but it's also got the requirement for rewilding the world, for creating space for nature, and at the same time, you're pushing back against the White Fist and potentially other factions. And so as a result, there's also that whole element where you've got the you've got the folks who are looking after the town, who sort of patrol it and make sure that the place is safe and help people in need. So with this, I thought it could be quite fun to do a little reference back to that. So for those of you who played it, you'll recognise the characters. For those of you who won't, oh well, that's okay. So first thing I'll do is we will jump to this one. So we have here what you need in order to play the game. You need 3 6-sided dice, check, a pad, a pen, and some scissors. That's a point to have some. Yeah, I do have some scissors. Great. I would, of course, be happy to engage my bestial side and rip paper if it came to it. So we've got pen and pencil. We've got 3 6-sided dice. I probably won't need sound effect bits. That's okay. We're not doing a longer game. So we've got everything we need. So I'll scroll down here. We have our what to expect thing here for those of you who are unfamiliar with the game. And otherwise, we have how to make our crew list. So rather than keep it on this page, I'm going to switch it back to me so you can see me make it. So the first thing that we do is we take our sheet of A4 paper and we fold it in half. Doesn't have to be perfect. And we fold it in half again. Okay. Then you can tear them, or you can get yourself some scissors and just quickly chop them out. Again, this doesn't have to be perfect. It is just kind of split them up, separate them so you can move them about and adjust their position in your crew list, because that determines their vulnerability. So there we go. Right. So we've got ourselves our 4 little slips here. The next thing that you do is you fold some bits, this just about this much really, you fold it over behind the slip. So you want it preferably on the right hand side. And these are going to be your hit markers. So that way when a character is hit, you unfold these bits and they're suddenly visible. If a character is hit again, while it's already unfolded, they're dead. So we don't want that to happen. We want to try and avoid that if possible. But nonetheless, we need the things. So we are going to do the I've just bloody gone and written that on my main sheet. Ah, that was very silly of me. Oh well, I'll get a rubber in a second, sort it out. Do I have a rubber? Typically, no. Okay, no worries. I had to make this mistake nice and early, didn't I? Alright. Okay, and with the magic of editing, we are back. I went and found a rubber, and now I've rubbed it out. So I'm going to put that hit back again. Right, there we go. So we've got our 4 hit markers. And we are going to, what's next? Let's have a quick look. So the next thing we do is we are choosing a name and 2 descriptors for each character. So let's have a look. So it's admittedly been quite a while since I've played this game, so you know, maybe not the entirely best choice, but from what I remember, we have the 4 sort of folks involved in it. We've got Arlo, we got Remington, we got Sam, and we have I think it's Mali, comes in later on in the game, but we'll go with Mali. Even if it's wrong, I apologise. So we've got our 4 crew here. We need some descriptors. So let's see. We've got Arlo. Arlo's kind of, he's got ginger hair, and I'm going to say he's got a cocky smile. He does kind of have that air to him, you know. We got Remington. Remington is he's kind of a slow talker. He's kind of got a drawl to him. Slow drawl. And what else can we say about Remington? You often see them working out quite a bit. I'm going to say he's got a toned physique. Toned physique. So Sam is a tomboy, and let's see, she's quite scrappy, wears these big gloves. Generally, to be honest, is also quite cocky, but I don't want to overlap them, so we'll say chatterbox. Sam seems the type to chew the fat and you know, talk a lot on missions. Mali's quite serious, you know, was part of the flying pigs in the game, so the sort of the important exploration group. I think probably wears quite flowing clothes from what I remember. And I think she has piercings. So I might be making that up, but that's okay. So flowing clothes and piercings. Excellent. So we have these. Now the next part, I'll quickly swap it back to the rulebook. So the next part for the rulebook is we pick out specialties. So yeah, to be honest, straight off the bat, like I say, Mali was part of the Flying Pigs. They're an explorers sort of group. They're looking to go out and discover all kinds of various brand new things, dangerous things, stuff that they need to know about before it becomes a problem. And so I think navigation would be a perfect one for her. So that's a shorthand. We will put a square down. Oh, swap it back. And then right, navigation. So next, let's see. You always see Arlo in the game running around. He's always all pumped up and training and all the rest of it. So I think he's going to be athletics. And then from what I remember, they often call Sam whenever there's like a issue with, say, like someone gets hurt or whatever else. So I'm going to say Sam, and also is quite friends with the nurse woman. So I'm going to say she is medical. So we're going to put a triangle down as the shorthand for medical or mental. And as a small thing as well, the shorthands also mean that it's able to be used with colorblind folks. We, after doing a lot of stuff in the board game world, we find that it's important for accessibility. It's something that's very important for us as a company. So adding in elements of the game which allow for colorblind folks to participate when usually we're using colors in order to differentiate with ease. Doing it, you know, obviously not everyone has colored pencils all the time. So rather than having to try and remember what one it belongs to, instead we use these as sort of shorthand. So Remington, I think, to be honest, I think he's going to have awareness. Remington's always on patrol. You always see him sort of going around, and we're going to do that. All right, cool. So let's fold these behind. Nice. So we have our crew sheet. Next up, we're going to make our mission journal. So this is very simple to make. You make yourself a little booklet by just folding the A4 sheet in half and then sorted. We've got ourselves a mission journal. So if we jump back to the book again, oh, I missed a step. Oh my goodness, look at that. And they call me the maker. Right, so the last thing is we choose a Why I Fight personality discovery. So these are things that allow us to tap things that are important to the people involved. They're stuff that, you know, they're the reason why they're willing to stand up and fight for other people, to protect their community, and perhaps in order to push back the white fist. So let's have a think. What do I know about these folks? So from what like I said, Sam is pretty close to the nurse in the game. So I'm going to say we're going to add a personality discovery for Sam. I'm going to say my friends back home are counting on me. Cool. So there we go. So we have my friends back home are counting on me, and that's her personality discovery. That's what these folks know about Sam. That's what they've learned as they're traveling. So we are setting off. We decide on what it is we're going to be doing for our mission. The next step, actually this time, is setting up the mission journal. So we fold our sheet in half, as you can see, and then we determine what we're going to go and do. Now, because this is just a sort of playtest version, we've only got 3 missions available here, but I think it might be fun to do the broadcast station. So we're going to shut down the broadcast station. They've been spewing out sort of propaganda messages across the area, taking over the local TVs and all kinds of things like that. And they've decided enough is enough. So we're going to shut down a broadcast station. I'm just going to write mission journal at the top. Shut down a broadcast station. So that is going to be on page 30. And the next thing we do is we determine how long it's going to take to get there. How many areas do we have to travel through? So I'm going to take a d6, move that aside. So we rolled a 3. So if you rolled a 3, put your mission title in the 4th bullet point. So that's what we're going to do. So we're going to make 4 little bullet points. Okay, so shut down broadcast station. Finally, we need to know where are we going to be traveling through in order to get there. And so let's have a look. I'll switch back to this, slightly more engaging. So we need to roll to find out where we're traveling through. So let's see where our first location is. it is, I've rolled a 5. 5 relates to farmland. So that's the first area we're going to be traveling through. So we write farmland here. Next, we roll again. If it's a 1, it's the thing above it. If it's a 2, it's the same one again. If it's a 3, then you do the one below it. So right, so we halve that. So it's so that's a 3. So that's the location below. That means we are doing village. The next 6. So that is, again, it's the one below it, but on the sheet, it's the final one. So as a result, we're going to the other side of the chart. So it's now suburbia. And then finally, where is the broadcast station going to be? So that's, I've rolled a 3. So halving that will be a 2. So we are looking at, oh, it's the same one again, isn't it? Suburbia. Suburbia. So we're traveling through farmland, then through a village, then we're entering in suburbia, and deep in suburbia is where the broadcast station is. Now we know where we're traveling through. So our team set off, we depart, and we are, now we determine what the first situation we come up against is. So we're traveling through the fields, we're going through farmland, we're looking about the place, we're seeing sort of what we come across on our way there, and so we roll our d6. We get a 3, and so in this farmland we determine there are some camped out troopers. Right, so we're going to draw a line under here because this is our journey. We know where we're going and how we're going to get there. We just add in what we come across as we travel, as we go. So camped out troopers is on page 25. Right, so I'm going to click on the link, jump to page 25. So here we are, camped out troopers just here. And we have the information about what we need to do in order to set up the entire journal. So I'm going to sort of run you through this and then you can see me put it down. So the first thing we do is we title that first situation as camped out troopers. So we'll just put that below the line. So it says, write the combined difficulty of all crews present beside it. This is typically 1 + 1 per crew member, +1 per personality or hardship discovery. So the crew that we have here, we've got 4 crew members, so that's 4. We've got 1 personality discovery, and then the 1 on top. So that is a total difficulty of 6. So we'll write that down here. Right. Finally, we also add the time period. So the time period, just quickly look at that. The time period is what time of day it is, what benefits we get from that time of day. So in the case of this one, we're going to say it's morning because it's morning in real life for me. So yeah, morning we'll do, and that's +1 morale, +1 navigation. +1 navi. Okay, so this is useful because we've got Mali who has navigation. So when she uses something that would be based on a navigation based roll, then as a result she gets a bonus because it's first thing in the morning. You know, you're getting your fresh view of the world and you're ready to kind of work out all that sort of stuff. I'm going to quickly go over the tallies as well, since we're here. And also quickly say that every time we move through another area, we go to the next time period. And if they go 4 time periods without stopping and resting for the entire thing, then they start taking exhaustion and stuff like that. The tallies in the meanwhile are the other way in which we track time here. We add tallies to the sheet as we do a move, and things happen every time it hits 5. So it's like a little passage of time thing. That's, I'm fairly sure, one of the new elements, which is, I think, a big benefit. So let's have a look. We are going to be jumping back to Countdown Troopers. So we write, until revealed, all enemies count as scattered. There we go. And we will quickly write hidden here. Right, so we're currently hidden. We're seeing these folks. We're creeping up on them. These troopers are all camped out. They got the white fist logo emblazoned on them, and you know, you can tell they're doing something in the area. But currently, they're not aware of anyone coming up on them. They're all relaxed. They're kind of milling about their camp. So as a result, they're not working together, which is why they're scattered. The last thing we do is we add a local area discovery. Since we're in the farmland, I'll just quickly show you, we have one determined for us. It is a flaming scarecrow. They seem to have set a scarecrow alight and are using it as their means of cooking some food. Sure that isn't relevant to any kind of intent there. So flaming scarecrow. The next thing we do is we determine what else is going on. We select 2 other local area discoveries from the situation, and then we build the combat situation immediately after. So this is a perfect opportunity to show off how the combat system is put together. Unlike most games, rather than having a game master which is determining the combat systems for you, Why We Fight allows everyone to play as a player or as a crew, and so as a result, you cooperatively build encounters together. This was something that was quite a lot of work to get balanced, but I think we've done pretty well with it. So let's have a go. So the first thing we do is we make sure all the necessary, I'll quickly show you the page, make sure all the necessary details to do with your situation are written on the situation page. Yeah, we've done that, sorted. Next is you invent 2 descriptors about the area you're in, using the table below as examples, or you can roll on them. So this down here is a roll table for if you don't know what to go with, or they're just examples of stuff. So let's have a think. So they've torn down this scarecrow. They're burning like some, I don't know, some corn cobs on it or something along those lines, and they're just kind of sitting around and yeah, making noise. So what else is in the area? I've just said corn cobs, so we'll say there is some high crop cover. So we've got these crops that are growing up nice and high. We're able to sort of sneak through relatively easily because we're sort of pushing through these stalks. What else is available? Let's have a think. Maybe there's a tractor there. You know, maybe there is like a kind of rusted out old tractor just sort of on one side. We'll say that there's a tractor. Tractor rusting. In the sun. Bit of descriptive fun. We've got tractor rusting in the sun. So that's our local area discoveries. We're able to use these as a means of getting creative, and we're also able to use them as a way to give ourselves advantage. So we use them and our environment as a whole in order to give ourselves bonuses we otherwise wouldn't have. So the next thing is we choose our enemies. So, right, when choosing the enemies you are facing, players take it in turns to do so. Obviously, I'm running a solo game right now, so I'm not going to do that. But you may not choose the same enemy type twice in a row. When facing enemies, their fight rating is increased by their quantity. So, we have here an example page. Our difficulty is 6. We have to reach that difficulty by choosing enemies from this number. So, for example, we could go with 1 riot trooper and 1 trooper, and that would be it. But that doesn't sound like it would be too interesting. And you have to choose different ones each time. So, as a result, why don't we go with let's go with Raider. I realise I'm literally going to be doing what's on here. A Raider, a Trooper, and a Civilian. It is our example, so we're going to write that down. So here on the sheet, down at the bottom here, obviously this is almost halved, so you'd normally have a lot more room, but for the moment we should have plenty for something like this. We're going to do so we'll do the Trooper first. So the fight rating first, then the name, their special ability, and then we add a circle for each one that is present. This is another thing that is new. Before we had it where each individual one was sort of just a line itself, but now we have a circle and we cross that out when they die. So the next one we'll add is the Raider. Their special ability is the spray lead. There's one of them. And then last of all, because we need to hit 6, we will choose the Civilian. So the Civilian special ability is Guilt. That basically is a case of, you are playing the good guys here. You are not looking to kill anyone who isn't really actually committed to doing harm. If you can spare lives, it's better to do so. There are genuine mechanical benefits to doing so, in fact. And so as a result, if you do just kill a civilian, even if they are hostile, ultimately your people do feel bad about it. So it gives a -1 penalty to a crew member of your choice until the end of the next situation. So the more you do it, the worse that will get. And so as a result, you are going to be looking to kind of intimidate them, make them run away, and not gun down civilians, because that's not the kind of game this is. So, however, obviously our troopers and our raiders, they are absolutely a-okay with causing carnage, and they are more than welcome to slaughter people en masse, so they'll get the same treatment. I'm going to quickly show this. One of the new things is the Scout dirt bike. It's quite a fun one. Hopefully we'll get the chance to try it later on. I'm not going to go super into it right now, but it's good fun. We just added it. And another one is we've got this bit here, which is where if an enemy type ever reaches 5 circles, you split them up into separate groups so they become a new line without needing to be a new line. This means that when you combine them, which we'll look at in a second, when you combine groups, you are you're able to make use of a large amount of the same type if need be, but it doesn't become an overwhelming amount of fight rating to deal with them. It just becomes more groups. So it's simultaneously easier and also more difficult to deal with it. It's much more of a balancing act. We feel it's a lot better. Okay. The other thing to quickly mention is that if we do manage to get to 20 or more difficulty, we're able to introduce vehicles. Maybe we'll get there later, maybe not, but they're relatively simple as well. So since we're here, we'll quickly look at the combat basics. The way that the combat works is you are rolling your 2d6 as standard, and if you get 5 or less, you take a consequence and you apply it to your crew. If you get between 6 and 9, then you succeed at what you're doing, but you still take a consequence. And then if you get 10 or more, then you outright succeed. Nothing bad happens to you. You achieve what you're trying to do. If you're rolling your 2d6 and you roll a double, say for example 2 5s, then you manage to do the thing you were trying to do, but you apply it twice. This might be if you're applying an effect, then you might apply it to a different group as well. If you're literally just attacking and taking someone down, then you manage to take down 2 people at once, and so on. However, the offset to that is if you roll a double and it's like a double 1 and it's a fail, then as a result, you take 2 consequences. Things not only go wrong, they go much wrong. So with that lovely display of English there, we'll quickly go over how combat works. So each character uses moves. That will be much easier to show than explain for the most part, but your character who you're choosing to do the move with, you place them at the top of your character list. I'll quickly show you. So you place them at the top. If Arlo is going to be doing a move, he goes to the top, and then that way he leads his team going and achieving the move in question. The other thing that happens is that the character at the top is going to be the first one to be hit if that consequence comes up, which means that generally speaking, you're by leading a move, you're making yourself more vulnerable. Since you can only hit twice before you die, it's very vulnerable. The other thing is that you've got 2 sort of types of moves. You've got you've got quiet moves, you've got loud moves. If you do quiet moves, they don't reveal you so long as you're successful. And loud moves, however, will reveal you immediately. So the difference between these are the consequences. There are much worse consequences once you're revealed, because now they're actually aiming for you. Right, brief overview of that. Finally, overcoming enemies. Enemies queue up together. This isn't something we're really going to be able to see in this one because we've got a bunch of individuals, but we'll see it in the next one, I expect. Enemies group up together. If you've got 2 troopers, those troopers will work together. It makes them stronger. It means that in order to overcome them, their fight rating is increased by the quantity. So a trooper is rating 2. So as it shows in the example there, if there are 3 of them, you have to overcome a fight rating of 6 before you can actually manage to strike one down. More than that, the minimum fight rating is equal to the quantity that are present. So in our example here, we're about to be doing this combat, so we'll see we have 3 different types of enemies. That means that all of these are a minimum rating of 3. So once we take care of, say, the trooper, for example, or any of them really, it will drop down to 2. And so the trooper and the civilian, if we've taken out the raider, will both be 2 at that point. This way, you don't need, if you're adding a whole list of different things, it has its own negatives to consider. It's a balancing thing more than anything, but it's worked really well. I'll show it off in probably the next situation. We have effects. We'll go over them when we get to them. They're going to be relatively useful. They're quite important to the game as a whole. And finally, we have our combat quick reference. So this page is meant to be your one-stop shop for the most part, other than, say, consequences or effect tags, which are just one page above or below. But this is meant to be your one-stop shop for everything you need to know about how to run a combat. It should be really straightforward. You are leading a move with the character. You're choosing the move from the list on the side there, and then you're rolling it and using your personality discoveries or your area discoveries or whatever it is that you're using to boost your roll, and that potentially, if you do boost it, you get 3d6 instead of 2d6, which gives a much higher chance of success, or perhaps a usable chance of success if the fight rating you're going against is particularly high. So with that in mind, we will do a turn of combat. So I'm looking at this here and I'm thinking to myself, we're currently still hidden. We're going to get the drop on these White Fist troops who are camped out in this farmland. They're a little bit too close to our hub for my liking. I think it's probably worth taking them out. You do have the choice. You can move on. You can choose that before you do all the bits. You can just be like, are we going to deal with the camped out troopers? I think probably not. Let's just move on, make good time and carry on. Nonetheless, I think it's worth doing it. You know, we don't want them getting to our hub. We don't want them causing trouble in the local area. So we're going to wipe them out. So I think the thing that would be best is, since they are all rank 3, we may as well focus on the raider first. They've got spray lead, which is arguably the most dangerous of their personal abilities. And so as a result, we will we're gonna get the drop on them. So we have Arlo. He has athletics. Athletics is the linked specialty for flanking, and flanking gives us a bonus towards dealing with a particular enemy. So we're going to roll Arlo flanking. He gets 3d6 regardless because he has athletics. All right, so 12. 12 is really good. It's straight out the gate. No problems at all. So we're gonna add, so +2 versus this raider. Realistically, now that I've done that, I probably should have done it on this side, because that way it's not in the way if, say, we call for backup and discover that there's more than we thought there were or whatever else. And yeah, I should have done it on this side so I can keep adding circles. So learn from my mistakes, folks. Yeah, now we've got that +2, we add, oh no, we don't yet. Once we're revealed, we start adding ticks, because that's when special things start happening, unless a situation says otherwise, but currently they're all kind of chilled out. So we, it's instead just round to our next person. We haven't been revealed, they don't move, we haven't had any consequences, we're all good. So I'm thinking possibly Mali might lead this next move, as the veteran of the flying pigs, as we're aware. Mali is going to do I'm going to say, it's probably worth just taking them out. There are only 3 and we've got a +2. It's very difficult to fail at this point. So I'm just going to roll my 2d6. We add 4 to the result because of how many folks are going against them, and then we reduce it by their fight rating, which has been reduced to 1. So we're adding 3. So 7, 8, 9, 10. That is straight off the bat a perfect shot, really. So Mali looses an arrow. It flies through and sitting in amongst this little fireside kind of corn cob roasting situation, all of a sudden the raider gets an arrow straight into their head. Do a headshot. The other 2, I imagine, probably panic, but nonetheless we cross off this one. They are now dead, and these 2 are now minimum fight rating of 2, because there are no more of this. So as a result, we haven't been discovered. They don't know where the arrow came from. They're freaking out. They're like, whoa, what the hell? And we have the opportunity to strike while they still don't know we're there. So they start getting up and running around, and I think even though we haven't had the chance to sort of queue up anything on the trooper, we're going to make an effort to wipe him out. So this time, since we can't do Mali immediately again, I think Sam is going to have a go. Maybe Sam is going to dive in with her big boxing gloves and smash him. So it's our 4 minus 2, so we add 2 to the result. We got a 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's a perfect. They didn't stand a chance. I mean, they were completely unaware, the whole lot. So this trooper goes down. Sam jumps in. Boff. Out he goes. There is just the civilian now. I'm going to say that... Oh no, technically we are hidden. Technically we haven't taken any consequences, so technically we're hidden. They don't know where the others are. They've seen Sam come in. They don't have the mental wherewithal to know how to deal with the situation. But still, nonetheless, we don't really want to kill a civilian. They seem to be friendly with this group, but nonetheless, they haven't picked up a weapon. They haven't done anything against us yet. There isn't any reason to kill them. So as a result, we're just going to scare them off. We're going to follow this up with an intimidate roll. An intimidate roll, you add an additional -2 for every additional enemy type present. There are none. So it's just a 2d6 roll. I will roll Remington. Remington's going to come out and be like, if you want to live, you best start running. And that's how he sounds in the game. It's not just me putting on a silly voice. And we've literally rolled 10 minus the 1. Oh no, but plus the 4. So it's 13. There's no chance. They've just floored this lot. This is amazing. I never roll this well. I appreciate everyone's luck here. Yeah. So we scare the civilian off. They start running. We can, if we want to, do another intimidate roll in order to get them to surrender. If they surrender, then we get some equipment from them, and then we can choose whether to let them go or not. Otherwise, we can just ignore them and they'll run away. I personally think it would be quite useful to potentially get some decent equipment from them. We're able to maybe get some additional bits and pieces from the others' weapons, but they could be broken, so we don't know for sure. I think it's worth giving it a go. We'll try and make the civilian surrender. Okay, so we rolled a 7, really lucky again. It's no sweat, they definitely surrender. It's important to note that if there isn't any threat, then even a partially positive roll will count just as a success. So in this case, because no one is fighting back against us, our roll is, we literally only needed a 6 to succeed. So in this situation, I just realised that previous roll was a double. That was a 5-5, wasn't it? Absolutely, yeah, they're terrified. I realised that, of course, it was a double, so they just surrender off the bat. They're just like, nope, I'm done. I ain't messing with this. Okay, whatever you want. So as a result, the combat is over. That was it. It's as simple as that. The very, very easy situation off the bat, but nonetheless, we managed to make them surrender. So if we jump back to here, we can now quickly get these open. So winning and moving on. So with combat situations, typically when all enemies have been killed or have fled or surrendered, surrendered enemies become captured after combat ends. Generally speaking, these captives are released after taking their equipment, but exceptions can be made if role played and agreed upon. So the other thing that you can do is salvage equipment. You can patch up your crew if anyone's been hurt. And yeah, so special equipment. No, actually not yet. We want to jump back there because it's enemy selection. So a civilian has been surrendered. What do they give us? So we take their gear off them, and it turns out they have some stuff on the general equipment table. So one thing for sure, before I upload this, I'm going to have to update those anchors. So the general equipment table, that's this one here. And that means that we get to roll on this, and what we roll is what we get. So what do we get? 3. Okay, so 3 is physical specialty equipment. So you choose or decide what type of equipment would help a particular ability, specialty, and the person holding it gains +2. So I'm going to say that had they been using this, they probably would have seen us coming. But I am going to give Mali a telescope. So Mali now has a telescope. That means that, you know, her navigation skill is able to be, it gains +2 to any rolls using it. And that's just basically how it works. It's that simple. We now are going to jump back to winning and moving on. So since we take the telescope off them and go, oh, they clearly don't have anything else of any use, they're not a threat to anyone, go on, get out of here. And they go scampering off across the fields. The enemy that have been defeated, however, we go over their gear, see if anything of use is there to be used. But yeah, it is generally considered damaged or inoperable unless you have someone who has scavenging or technical specialties, in which case they get a roll to try to reclaim a piece of equipment. So in this situation, we don't have anyone who has a technical or scavenging specialty, but that's okay. You know, it just means that we're going to try and take future enemies alive in future. And it's sort of a reward for keeping people, killing less people, basically. So next thing we do is we move on. We travel to the next area. But to get there, we move through like through the farmland. We discuss our experiences. We go over what our what our surroundings inspire in us, what our experience dealing with those troopers brought out from each other, and our group talks amongst themselves. You know, they chat as they travel. They'll be arriving in the next area in the afternoon, so it's, you know, several hours of talking and walking. And so we're gonna be rolling on the farmland table and seeing what sort of things are around. So let's have a roll. So I've rolled a 5. 5 is we discover farmers working together to develop a seed bank. So yeah, our group, they're walking along, they're chatting, and they see this sort of barn set up nearby, and they've got like big signs outside, you know, help us rewild the world and donate your seeds to us, help us keep going for longer. And you know, they go in, they chat with the farmers, they discuss it all, and what we now determine what one of our group, what we discover about them, what they end up talking to us about in terms of like their personality and what they care about. How does this discovery inspire them? So obviously, if you're playing with a group, rather than using the roll table, you can come up with something together that you think would be relevant. And the personality discovery you come up with doesn't necessarily have to be about this, but it can be something that comes up about your character, and you learn about them and build on them, that sort of thing. So I'm looking at this group and I'm thinking to myself, we've got one for Sam. It would be good to learn something else about one of the others. I'm going to depart from what I know about the game. These are going to be brand new stuff. I'm going to make it up as I go. So I'm going to say that that Remington is particularly, he's inspired by this. He sees them sort of storing up all these seeds, making sure that, if any crop fails, or if anyone is in need of being able to provide for themselves, to grow their own food, if that's what they want to do, then that's what this place is for. It's all about providing self-sufficiency, not only to those who might struggle, but also to those who want to begin taking care of themselves and providing for others too. It's that ability to pay it forward and provide for others that allows them to be in a position to provide for you if you should need it. So that discovery sort of brings it out in Remington. He's quite bolstered by seeing this, and talks about how it's good to see how what would it be? We could say his personality discovery is you get back what you give out. That's a good one. Cool. So we know this about Remington now. And this is now a personality discovery. I'm going to put a P next to it just so folks remember which one it is in case we take any hardships. You get back what you give out. This is something that Remington is able to tap in situations when he wants to gain advantage where he wouldn't otherwise have it. So we discussed this. If you're in a group, this is probably an ideal opportunity to actually have a roleplay scene where you discuss, who these people are, what they care about, and have a moment where you explain how you were inspired and what happens as a result of that inspiration. In 1.2, we're going to be looking at expanding the way that situations are built, making it much more connected to the general development of everything as a whole. So come by our Discord server. We're going to be running sessions to test that out. But still, that's our setup. We've got Remington all enthused. We head on out after a few hours and we walk on into the next area. So let's jump to what's the situation. So we roll on the mission table. We roll on the situation table again. What do we come against next? We've rolled a 1. So I'm going to flip the page now. Oh wait, first things first. We come to a village. In this village, we discover the ringing out shots of some elevated snipers, which it says here is on page 23. So elevated snipers. The situation here, there we go. So this is the first situation of the lot, and basically we have snipers situated, I'm going to say probably up on like a church or something. That seems like the sort of thing that's normally in the center of a village, up on some high place where they can see, the majority of the area. And so we title the new situation Elevated Snipers. And so we add the difficulty of all crews. So that is, so we've got 4 people, 2 personality discoveries plus 1. So that's a total of difficulty 8 now. No, it's not. It's 7. I cannot maths, apparently. So it's just +1 what it was. Silly me. 7. Right. Thank goodness for that rubber. Okay, so now we have the time period. It is afternoon. We know that because it was just morning. And that gives us +1 awareness and +1 scavenging. So +1 awareness and scavenging. I will try and remember that. And so the first thing we do is we roll a d6 +2 per crew to determine how many civilians remain. So we've got 5, and then we add 2, so it's that's 7 as well. I'm supposed to write terrified civilians, but I've already written civilians now. That's not the room, so we are and we add a new consequence to both hidden and revealed status. This is the thing that goes off whenever a tally reaches 5, and this is one of those situations where even when hidden, you have those tallies build up. A civilian is killed by sniper fire. So the sooner we act, the more we can save. So a civ is killed by sniper fire. And yeah, as it says on the book, every move enacted by a crew, along with every doubled failure, add 1 tally mark underneath this consequence. If a tally reaches 5, a civilian is killed. So we have to act fast if we're going to save people. The next thing we do is we add a sniper, and then we add another one for every additional 6 difficulty. We're playing with just 1 crew, so it's relatively low difficulty. We're just adding 1. It's another 1 at every 6+. So actually we're adding 2 snipers straight off the bat, and that doesn't include our difficulty. So we've got a minimum of 2 snipers straight out. So, and then the last thing we do is we build a combat situation as we did before. So I will jump to there so that we can do that. So we have so this is in village now. We've got some examples here of the kind of things that we might find. I mentioned a church, and there is indeed, as an example, a quaint church. So let's add that. So a quaint church. And let's see what else might be in this village. So I'm thinking you often have like town halls and such that have like pillars and things like that, you know, trying to look all fancy. So I'm going to say rows of pillars. Hopefully we'll get the chance to actually use these this time, since it won't be quite such a slam dunk. And then we add our enemies. So with this one, we are already starting with 2 snipers. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to add three. So fight rating 3. That's a sniper, and their special ability is pinned down. And we know for a fact there's 2 of them. So the next thing, okay, we've got 7 difficulty to add on top of this. If we added a trooper, maybe a flamer and another trooper, that would be quite fun, I think. I imagine, you know, you've got this setup where they've managed to take over this church, the snipers managed to get up the top of it, you've got the flamer sort of standing with the 2 troopers either side, you know, keeping people away from the double doors. So that's our situation. I think we're going to go with that. So we're going to go with a trooper. Let's see here. Grab weapon. A flamer. That special ability is called Whoosh, which scatters our crew. So they have to die for cover. And then we're adding another trooper. So we have here 2 troopers, flamer, and 2 snipers. This means because we've got 3 different groups, we have a minimum fight rating of 3, but it doesn't really matter because the 2 troopers are added together, so their fight rating in order to deal with them is 4. Similarly, the snipers, in order to try and attack the snipers, they are a fight rating of 6. So that's basically how it works, where you're adding together groups of foes as they work together to deal with threats. After all, we are stronger together, and so are they. So, yeah, that's our situation. We've set this up, we're ready to go. So if we jump to the combat quick reference, what are we going to do? Let's have a look. So we're still currently hidden. I should add that in. Hidden. And yeah, I think we're probably going to want to take out that flamer. We don't want anything to well, we don't want them to scatter us, because if we take the scattered ability, then at that point our fight rating goes down to 1 instead of 4, because we now are sort of scattered apart. We can't work to get cohesively as a group. And on top of that, we need to actively choose to do a regroup action in order to try and to get back together, which obviously takes more time. So we don't want to risk that. That would not be best. So instead, we're going to, since the troopers are difficulty or fight rating 4 and the snipers are 6, it makes sense to focus on that flamer. Let's get rid of him nice and early. So since we're still hidden, we'll do the athletics roll with Arlo again. Arlo, you did well last time. We have that nice little setup, and it can make the flamer a lot easier. So 3d6, Arlo. Wow. Okay. So no sweat there. We've got, what's that, 11. And then yeah, is that 15? That's the one. Can you tell I'm dyscalculic? You can tell I'm dyscalculic. So 15. Of course, it's, so we're going to do this properly this time. We're going to do the -2 next to the flamer, and then we're going to, yeah, I think we'll just follow up, and we're going to have Mali do an attack, do a flying kick. You know, seems like the sort to do jump attacks. So that is, what is that? 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah. So I mean, that +4 -1, no trouble at all. So we've managed to get ourselves lined up. Arlo takes them round to a very useful position, and then they fire off a volley of arrows and take down that flamer. Thump, thump, thump. So we crossed that out. A very nice success. Good job, folks. The next thing... I think the next thing, to be honest... Oh, I forgot, of course. We had a tick for Arlo's move. We had another tick for the flamer. So as a result, for the attack action, as it were. So that's 2 ticks. If that reaches 5, a civilian goes down. So I'm rolling really well at the moment. I haven't had anything go wrong, which is really amazing. I'm going to do... Let's have a think. Okay. I think we're going to have Remington do a strategize move. It's a social maneuver, so it needs to be someone who is socially inclined. But he doesn't have tactics, so he doesn't get an immediate 3d6. That's okay. 2d6 is probably good enough. And you know what? I think this is relevant for Remington's personality discovery. You can only use them once per situation, but I think this is really relevant. You get back what you give out. You know, these people are giving out pain. It's time to bring it. So we're going to strategize about how best to bring the pain. And I did say that I was going to be rolling an additional one. So thank goodness for that, because it would have been a terrible, terrible strategy had it not been for that extra die. So I've used this personality discovery, and we've managed to get that's 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's 9. It isn't plus our fight rating, so it is just as it is. So we get we get into a good position. We discover a really good we strategize a really good way forward, which will give us advantage. But unfortunately, whilst they're chatting about it, they have something happen. So the consequences, let's have a quick look at them. The consequences, we have 2 different types. We've got the ones that you can take while you're hidden, which we currently are. And they're not so bad. You can take, you can create a hardship on one of your characters. You can discover there are more than you thought. You have to deal with more of them, but nonetheless, you know, you have to add them onto your sheet, or you can become revealed. So it basically means that the consequence doesn't happen. They spot where you are, but nonetheless, it's you know, you move on to these more painful situation consequences. So as a result, we're going to go with we're going to create a hardship. Let's say they move along, they move around to a different side as they're talking, and maybe some sniper shots ring overhead. So if we create a hardship, we have to determine which of our characters is the one that is affected by it. So in this case, who here would have a hardship and what would it be? So it doesn't have to be Remington, even though he was leading the action. It can be any of them. I'm thinking we haven't had anything on Mali yet. We could add a hardship to her. So let's go for... There is a table which you can get examples or just outright roll on if you want to go with something, or if you're not confident in creating something on the fly. But I'm going to give it a go. So Mali is taking shots over her head. She's having all kinds of stuff going on around her. Maybe it's been a while since she's last been in like a combat situation where, you know, she's not the one that's under peril. It's other people. Maybe there are panicking civilians hiding in cover, and you know, the thought of just hunkering down here whilst all this chaos is going on around and people are in trouble, even though they're trying to strategize, maybe that delay is what's getting to her. So I'm going to say the hardship is I can't hear while people are in danger. So this hardship, because it's now on her sheet, it will be adding +1 to, oh, goodbye pencil. It will be adding +1 to the difficulty of our future situation. So it will be persistent across the thing. But because of that negative, it's not immediately active. It doesn't always add a -1 until it is activated by another hardship. However, it does mean that a hardship can be activated whilst you know, in the future as well. So if we go into another situation in the future and we have something activating a hardship, that means that that could come into play then. All of the moves that Mali is involved in, or alternatively she's leading, they become things that have a -1 attached to them. So yeah, it's not great once they're activated, but you know, it's a risk, and yeah, adding to the difficulty as well for the long term. It's like it's not a bad thing now, but it's a bad thing later, kind of thing, you know. So that's the consequence we get. So they strategize. Mali can barely concentrate. She can hardly focus on what's going on. So with this in mind, we know what we're doing. We know how we're getting there. We know that there are rows of pillars. So maybe we can attempt to take down one of the troopers. We can like line ourselves up against that pillar and use that as cover in order to be able to get a clear shot of those troopers who are probably rushing over to the flamer to try and work out what the hell just happened. You know, they just went down, got arrows sticking out of them. What the hell's going on? So they rush over there, and this is Remington's like, let's go around, let's use those pillars, let's get a clear shot in. So that means we get 3d6. Who's going to be leading it? We're going to say Sam is going to be leading it. All right. So even though we have a double here, because we used the pillars as a means to get advantage, the double doesn't activate. So it only activates when you're rolling 2d6, one of the benefits of that. But we cross off the pillars. We've used that now. That's not able to be used for this reason. And so we are able, so this got us 10. The 4 of the combined troopers versus the 4 of our fight rating is offset entirely. So therefore, yeah, it is just straight up a 12. So that's a straight success. We managed to take down one of the troopers. So I'm thinking this might be, oh, and of course. So that was the flamer. Then we did the strategize. Now it's there. We know a civilian is going to go down in the next action. They're getting close. We think maybe one of them is about to dash out. We've got to do this. Maybe if we're quick about this, you know, we'll be able to use our patch up move in order to stabilize the civilian who gets hit. Hopefully we can prevent any other casualties. So we are going to, I think, I was going to get creative, but I've just used Sam, so I have to have someone else lead the moves. This is the thing. This is, as a cooperative game, even within your crew, you have to kind of think ahead about what you want to do, how you want to approach things, because I planned on getting creative, maybe cluster the snipers together a bit so that we can take them down in one go. But I'm not going to be able to. Sam's just managed to get that trooper. We don't have that opportunity. So I guess what we're going to do is we're going to, I think Arlo says, you know, they're moving around. The snipers are moving to another side. They've got a clearer shot at someone over there. Let's move and make sure we can get that shot at them. So we're going to, Arlo gets 3d6 to do the flank, and thank goodness he does. We do move around, but with only, what's that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's gonna be a success to a degree, but not by much. So it's -2 on the snipers as a whole. Makes them easier to take out. However, we're looking at taking a consequence. So consequences, I think at this point, we're going to take revealed. We can't take another hardship. We've taken one for our crew. So as a result, we're going to get revealed. So moving around, trying to see these snipers, trying to get in line in order to be able to get a clear shot of these snipers and stop them raining down this fire. We're moving too quickly. We couldn't take it carefully. We get spotted. The trooper turns their pistol on us. The snipers see us and adjust their position. Things can start getting real now. So that was our move. We put a line through here. Civilian is killed by sniper fire. So we are going to do. Well, I guess if we just put a tick here, that way we can track how many have been killed. So we've had one go down. Pow. We see the person go down, and we're like, right, we can't mess about anymore. We've got to deal with these snipers. Sam, you've got the mental specialty. I think it's time to get creative. So, using a local area discovery, or even your personal discovery, or something along those. Oh no, sorry, no, it does say using a local area discovery. You have to activate an effect. Or that's how you activate an effect. So the area discovery is a quaint church. Churches are old buildings. Maybe there's loose tiles. Maybe part of that kind of upper gantry is maybe the stonework's loose. So I'm thinking maybe what Sam can do is try and hit some of the stonework or something like that, or dislodge it in some way in order to get them to sort of back off and cluster into the same kind of area. So, oh, amazing. So we've rolled a 10. It's a double. We get to actually apply 2 different effects. That's really lucky. This is the perfect time for it. So I'm just going to quickly show off the effects. This is the time for it. So the thing I wanted to do was I wanted to cluster them. So with clustered, if an enemy is clustered, any assault roll over 5 that also surpasses the target enemy's fight rating will kill an additional enemy of the same type. So for example, a roll of 12 would kill 3 troopers, because you've got, in the case of the snipers here, we'd hit 5. Further than that, the first sort of 3 would obviously, by getting higher than 5 on the fight rating, we managed to kill 1. By getting an additional 3, so if we were able to roll 9 or more, then we also managed to get another one. So this is easier because we've got a -2 on their fight rating. So as a result, we are looking, we're looking to get 7. So a roll of 7 or higher would manage to kill both snipers in one go. That would be great. So we definitely want clustered. However, we're able to get another one for free just because we were we rolled really well. So I'm thinking maybe this trooper's had their ally go down. They've seen the flamer go down, the person that made them feel strong, confident. This flamethrower wielding enemy is absolutely gonna wreck us. But then they went down, and then their other trooper went down, and they look at us moving around and think, this is my chance. So I think we're going to take the flee action. I think the trooper is going to start fleeing. So I'm going to put a little arrow in their symbol there. So if they are left alone for 3 turns, they will have run away. We won't be able to scavenge anything from them or anything like that, but more than anything, we'll be able to and that's made me think, actually. Let's maybe think. I wonder if it would be worth making the snipers stand down. There's 2 of them, so it'd be difficult. No, you know what? They're shooting people. get these guys. I'm gonna. So that was Sam's action there, the tick for that action. So yeah, now we're gonna. Yeah, we're gonna have Mali, who, you know, can't hear while people are in danger. Too concerned about other people being, you know, being in trouble. Now is going to be the time when Mali is going to bring home the pain. So we've got the snipers are clustered. So as a result, we're going to do the assault move. We add our fight rating, we take away their fight rating, so they're down to 4 because of our flanking. But our fight rating is also 4, so it's just what the roll is. We've used up the quaint church, so there isn't anything we can take advantage of. We just have to hope for a lucky move. Mali rushes in, and we roll a 7, which is really lucky because that was exactly the number we needed. We still will take a consequence. Maybe the snipers get a shot off at the same moment that Mali does. Yeah, in fact, that sounds cool. What we'll do is we'll jump to the consequences here. And we'll say that so the highest ranked enemy's special ability is activated. That might be a good one. So what is that? For the sniper, here we go. Reduce the crew fight rating by 2 until the next dash becomes scattered. So I think it makes sense to choose to become scattered. So I think what we'll do is we'll say that maybe when Sam dislodged some of the stonework, switch back camera. When Sam dislodges some of the stonework, maybe there's like a rumble, and the steeple kind of lifts a little bit. And Mali's like, right, gonna deal with this. Runs up and it clambers up the side of the church, climbs onto the roof, and maybe, I don't know, we'll say because folks have whatever equipment that you feel they might need, so long as it's not able to accomplish something like, you know, we don't walk in here with a rocket launcher because obviously that would be more than a base roll's worth of stuff, but we can say that they have stuff that is whatever they would be able to carry. So for example, let's say for example, we've said Mali does like quite jumping attacks and things like that. Maybe she fights with a chain. So maybe she throws this chain up, hooks it over one of the sort of loose stonework bits, pulls at it, and a whole chunk of the steeple just goes falling over. The whole thing just like starts to topple, and the snipers fire their guns, the shots ring out, and the group as a whole are like have to dive out of the way in order to not get shot as the snipers fire wildly. So we'll scatter them. I tend, just as a personal thing, I like to sort of arrange it like that to remind myself that I'm scattered. And it's you, yeah. And so as a result, you're basically just dive to the ground. They look up and they see this whole steeple going over, and snipers are crushed in it. Good job. So that's that. The trooper keeps running. We have one last action. Oh, that's the point. Boop. We have one last action with which to try and make them surrender. But unfortunately, we're scattered, so we would have to be trying without our fight rating. We could do it. Maybe Remington you know? Maybe Remington is like, hey, stop right there. So there isn't any negatives because there are no other enemy types. They're just on their own. Don't add our fight rating, but we got 7, and we're not a threat, so we don't get another consequence. So as a result, we get partially positive, which is enough. And you know, in the face of seeing these fighters come in and take down a bloody steeple and wipe out the snipers, and also, you know, the flamer and the other his allies, just like, okay, you know what, these guys are clearly good. I surrender. I'm done. So we've succeeded, but a civilian has been shot. We have a patch up maneuver. Normally, if we are hit, we get 1 per what's it called, situation. And this situation, we haven't been hit, so we don't need to use it for ourselves. We can use this patch up to save a civilian. Not to mention that, let's see, so winning and moving on. Yeah, so Sam is medical, has the medical specialty. You know, the combat's over, so we can not like that anymore. Sam has the medical specialty, so gains free advantage when rolling a medical roll. She rushes over to the civilian. Yeah, cool. Gets there and is like, we're lucky, you know, that it was just a flesh wound. There's no like actual long-term damage. You know, don't worry, I'm going to patch you up. I'm going to help you. They patch up the civilian and successfully manage to save every single life that was there since they arrived. Now, obviously, this is early days, and the mission difficulty is quite low because there's just 1 crew. But you know, it's one of those things. You're looking to balance out the needs of the situation with the best way forward. You're trying to save lives whilst trying to not take too much damage yourself, because this isn't your mission. This is just something you've come across on the way. This is something you have to deal with because you've come across it, and if you don't deal with it, who will? Like, all those people are going to get shot because you were too busy, and that's not what kind of game this is. This is the sort of thing where you save people. And so as a result, we jump to a situation of elevated snipers. And so if you manage to save more than half the terrified civilians, I mean, we saved all of them, so hell yeah. They manage to scrounge together some supplies to help you on your journey, granting you a medical kit. They also rally together, giving you a free advantage towards salvaging equipment before they grab what weapons they can and go on their way looking for safety. So in this situation, we are going to make sense to give Sam the medical kit. And the medical kit allows us to gain either free advantage or an additional patch-up roll when a free advantage towards patching up, or another one instead. So great, we successfully saved the people. We got our rewards for it. The trooper also, we managed to make them surrender, which means that we are able to get their equipment. Let's have a look and see what they have. Right. So the troopers up here, their special equipment is a pistol. We will jump to the equipment area. And so the pistol. So the way that this works is, if you have a gun instead of, say, the bows that you normally start with, this you gain an additional fight rating, but instead of it being like assault actions can be quiet, instead you're looking to do it becomes a loud action because you're using a pistol. You get to choose whether or not you're using a pistol, but you know, it's it is one of those things where you get to choose when you're going to do an aggressive move, and if you need to do that quickly, you can gain that +1 by using the pistol. We don't track ammo or anything like that, but you know, certain weapons have only so many uses before they run out. Pistol is not one of them, but that's fine. So, who are we going to give the pistol to? Let's give it to Arlo. I think Arlo could do with a pistol. So Arlo now has a pistol. They let the White Fist goon go. You know, they take his gun and say, "Go on, go crawl back. Tell him that the Community Alliance don't have time for your shit. We will stop you wherever you appear," and send him on his way. And so we now jump back to traveling to the next area. So we move on. We are now in, where are we? We are in a village. So what do we discover? Let's use the roll table. All right, so 5. So we're going through the village, or maybe, you know, we stay a little bit in this village. We stay a little while and find out what's going on, and in it we discover that you know, the village hall sets up a weekly kind of skills swap. You know, they invite folks from all over the area, and anyone who is particularly skilled in certain ways, they help out others who need that particular skill. So they'll travel to their area, they'll lend their abilities and their specialty to those in need. And yeah, I think what does the question is, what does this bring out in our people? What do we learn about our group? So it'd be nice to do something for Mali or Arlo. Mali's got a hardship, but Arlo hasn't got anything yet. So why don't we... Arlo's kind of the kind of guy to get involved in that sort of thing. You know, he's the leader of the group normally, at least in the game. So as a result, you know, I feel like having that kind of swapping of skills, that going here and there and helping people in their time of need is exactly his bag. So I think maybe Arlo stays a while and helps out with, like, maybe he has a hobby. Perhaps Arlo maybe Arlo likes carving. You know, maybe the folks who've come by to this particular skills meet, and the reason why the White Fist did their attack when they did is because they know that everyone's coming here and also do it. So the White Fist can strike, do a big old terror attack, and make people feel very unsafe, and turn to the protectorates in order to sort of provide that to them. So they struck on this particular day because the village hall had set up its skills swap. Everyone had gathered here. And Arlo gets involved. You know, he's like, "Oh, well, you know, this is incredible. I'll you know, maybe I can help out as well." And he is, you know, his hobby is all carving and all the rest of it. And so as a result, he like helps out with writing some chairs. You know, making some chairs that were wobbling or tables or whatever. You know, he balances them out a bit. Takes that time while he can to help them out, make a difference where he can. And yeah, being able to do that, being able to be refreshed by not only saving these people but also being able to make a long-term difference in their lives, you know, really bolsters him. So we discover that Arlo so is how do I phrase this one? I love to carve a gift for those I cherish. So, yeah, you know, he obviously doesn't have time to fully carve something out, but nonetheless, he can use his expertise with woodworking to help these people out while he can. And that means that, you know, we discover this about him. Good old Arlo. What a lad. So, lovely. We move on. And it turns into the evening. So, we roll once more on the situation table. We move into suburbia. I rolled a 1, that is elevated snipers again. Ordinarily, we would have it where you have an alternative set of situations, so if you roll a 1 a second time, you can just choose fleeing refugees as well. Or instead, sorry, for example, you can see here. So elevated snipers is 1, you just choose the other. But that isn't there yet, that's okay. We'll roll again. Rolled a 3, that is camped out troopers, so you know what, I'll just pick the one, we'll say above it, it's wary civilians. And this is good, this will give me an opportunity to show off the kind of the more peaceful operations. So we'll jump to wary civilians. I realise actually I should keep it on. So you come across a collection of civilians that live in the area you're passing through. While not unfriendly, they don't want any trouble, including the type that comes with helping those who have enemies. Despite this, they have a number of issues, and perhaps helping out would make them realise that you fight for everyone, not just your own. So I'm going to add in wary civilians. That is on page 24. All right. So it says here, setting up the journal. So we come across wary civilians. And the time period is the evening. I was going to write time period and then, no, just write evening. So, what is that? +1 to tactics and athletics, okay. I'll do. So with this in mind, I'm going to quickly show you this page. We have a number of things that you can do for these people that, depending on how you manage it or depending on the abilities that you have, you can help in different ways and better assist with the various issues that they have. If you don't have any of the specialties that would particularly help, you can still do the role, it's just at a -2. If you feel like it's something that would really link in quite closely with any of their personality specialties, then of course you can use it to gain additional die. And then depending on how you roll, you get a result based on, you know, how it goes. These are designed to be sort of little, I suppose, story bits that are influenced by how you roll or what sort of people you have. Now, one of the things we're probably, when we redo the whole situation mechanic, I think we're going to be able to expand upon more non-combat situations in a much more deeper way. But for the moment, these are a pretty good stand-in. It allowed us to experiment and to get a feel for how people reacted to them, how people, what they liked about them, what they wanted from a kind of peaceful, helping out people who are struggling kind of scenario, and how we can better provide that in a bigger way. So for the moment though, we're just going to roll with what we got. So we've got power to the people. The local power supply has gone out, and without it, people are struggling to achieve a basic quality of life. Cables in the area seem to be fine. Perhaps there's an issue with the junction box. With the government in disarray, it's unlikely that key infrastructure like this will be fixed anytime soon. We've also got food for the hungry. There's tension here, and a few probing questions unearth that the settlement is getting low on food. With local area formerly dedicated to cash crops, there's very little in the way of edible farm produce nearby. Did you notice anything that could help them on your journey? And you have Build Back Better. You take the time to chat with some of the more open locals, only to find that some of the nearby opportunists have taken to sneaking in at night, stealing some of what the settlement have, a problem that's heavily contributed to their wariness recently. You might consider whether there's ways they could better protect themselves and look out for each other. So, I'm going to say that I think Arlo's going to have a go at Build Back Better, because he's literally just gained his whole I love to gather gift for those I cherish, and you know, he has that whole thing of, you know, he likes making stuff for people, so maybe he knows about some way in which they can do that. So that would give him a 2d6 despite not having, sorry, a 3d6 despite not having the right specialty. Meanwhile, food for the hungry requires navigation or awareness. We have Mali's navigation, and she has a telescope with +2. Maybe she can use that to gain even more benefits. So, yeah. So we're going to start with Mali, I think. So attempting each of these takes a time period. Oh, actually, I've just realised it's currently evening. I should actually start with Arlo's athletics. Oh, no, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, actually, because it turns out it's not relevant to the thing, so it wouldn't apply. My mistake. So instead, yeah, it's currently evening. Each one of these will take a time period. In order to not be exhausted, they're probably also going to have to stay here. I think as a result, it makes sense they'd help out. That would hopefully make the people here willing to let them stay, and then as a result, you know, they'll be able to rest, and then maybe they can help out some more in the morning and arrive in the afternoon tomorrow. So we're going to start with food for the hungry. That obviously seems like quite a pressing issue. I'm going to say Mali uses her navigation. So we're going to roll our 2d6. We're going to add Mali's +2 from her telescope. So 4 and 5. So we got here 9, 10, 11. That is very much a glorious success. So it says 10+, you're certain you saw an overgrown orchard nearby. Apples aren't a balanced diet, but it's a hell of a lot better than starvation. You mark it out on their map, and they're relieved and thankful for your help. They offer you a decent selection of supplies, granting you a role on both special equipment tables, and you may shift the results up or down by 1. So, I'm going to quickly show this. So we have here a special equipment table, and we can roll anywhere on this. So we got, let's do a roll. So 2. So I can get mental specialty equipment. I could get something that would make Sam even better at medical, for example. But I can shift the results up or down by 1. So I could go for a scouting drone. Would allow me to adjust the situation. But we're about to get to our location, so it's not going to be too useful in this situation. Or I could shift it down and maybe give Arlo a specialty for his athletics. I think that probably makes sense. Sam's already really good at medical. Obviously, so is Arlo. But I'm going to be trying to not get people hit. So as a result, I'm going to go for that. Yeah. So with this in mind, I think, you know, Arlo's got athletics. Maybe they show him an array of equipment and he's like, oh, these are some climbing picks. Maybe as a result, I could have those, and then we've got climbing picks. +2. So now maybe Arlo can use those climbing picks to better be able to, get into places where he otherwise wouldn't be able to. He can climb up buildings, which obviously proved to be something that was necessary with the church earlier. And maybe also, it means that they can be used for prying open a way forward or anything like that. So lots of versatility with climbing picks. We'll go with that. So let's jump back. What page was that? It was... Oh, I didn't write it down. See, this is why you write it down. You'd think by now I would remember. But no. Here we go. Where are civilians? P24. Cool. So, yeah, it's now into the night. They've helped out. The people are really happy. Oh, amazing that they managed to spot an orchard. They'll send some people out in the morning to go and help with that. That's a relief. Thank you so much. Yes, of course you can stay here overnight. Of course you can. That makes complete sense. So they stay in the night. They sleep through it in comfort. Wonderful. Better than expected. And it's morning. I can choose to take an additional time period. But I forgot to mention, of course, because we're taking longer to get there, we add an additional D3 of final mission difficulty. So, okay. So we're adding 2 to the final mission difficulty. Just very quickly. +2. Is it worth me attempting to help these people? Maybe getting additional things that would be helpful. I think so. We're about to go to the big finale. They're often quite difficult situations. I think it would be worth it. Let's do it. I'm gonna do the attempt. I'll roll the D3 first this time because I think that makes sense. It's a 2. Cool. So we only added 1. That's a relief. So it doesn't take too long. Arlo decides to have a chat. He's going to use his personality discovery. I love to carve a gift for those I cherish, in order to talk to them about ways in which maybe they could improve their defenses, or maybe they can even make amends with the people that are stealing from them. They've got more food now. Maybe they could find a way to make contact with them and share that food instead of them feeling like they need to steal. So he's going to roll 3d6 -2. Oh wow! Oh wow! Look at that! Look at that! 3 6s! That's absolute madness. I'm so glad I got that on video. Okay. Ding ding ding! He absolutely blows this one out of the water. He knows, as it says, as you draw up plans for some of the community defences you've thought of, several of the more technically minded community members set to work finding materials to put them together. The community leaders are really impressed and give you some supplies and the radio frequency they use, suggesting that you call them if you need them. You gain, it should say you gain 1 call for backup token, but for some reason the word backup is gone. So I'll fix that before we release it. You gain 1 call for backup token, and you may also roll on either special equipment table. You may shift the result up or down by 1. So because it says either, we will go for the guns and military equipment one. Let's see if they have anything good hidden away. They're like, you know what, guys? Oh yeah, nice. Okay, so I rolled a 2, so that is the full auto rifle. They're like, you guys have really helped us out here. You've managed to spot food that we're able to have. You guys have helped us with our defenses. The only reason we were sort of still keeping going is because we got this cache of weapons, and you guys should have it. You clearly are doing the right stuff. Here you go. Have a full auto rifle. We're going to give that to Remington. It is his name after all. And we're going to, yeah, so he's going to take so Remington's basically Remington having that they're effectively able to count an enemy as clustered even when they're not. They can spray lead effectively. It's the same thing that the Raider uses, and so as a result, Remington's able to use this as a means of being able to do that. It has 4 uses to it, so we will do 4 little boxes, and we'll check them off when we use it, and that way we can better keep track of his whole thing. So amazing. That was absolutely worth doing that. It is now afternoon. Let's quickly write down on our sheet. I kind of forgot to do that. We'll quickly write down on our sheet what we did. So we helped these people find food to keep going. They were so thankful that they let us stay the night. In the morning, we helped them set up defenses. And they rewarded us and told us to call if we ever needed help. Amazing. So, with our call for backup token and our full auto rifle, we are way better kitted out than we were before. We've got some really good stuff on our hands. It was absolutely worth sticking around and helping these people. And so now we're going to move ahead and we're going to do our final mission on the back here. We're going to do this on a much better footing than we were when we started out. So we're moving on. We still determine something that inspires our people. We increase the quantity of our personality discoveries. We haven't had anything for Mali yet, but to be honest with you, it says I can't hear while people are in danger as a hardship, and I think this is our opportunity. I'm just going to quickly show off the personality discovery page again. This is absolutely the opportunity to sort of expand on that. We're gonna say that Mali is so pleased that we were able to help out those people. She was so glad that she was able to spot that orchard in the distance and was able to do that. And I'm going to say she gets the personality discovery of we are all stronger if we work together. Lovely. So yeah, Mali's got the personality discovery. We're all stronger if we work together, and I think that's a really accurate. So yeah, really pleased about that. Now, now we move on. We do the final mission. So where do we start? So we'll go for, here we go. Final mission that we chose was shut down a broadcast station. So they head off. It's the afternoon. Shut down a broadcast station. The area that we determined it to be in was suburbia. I guess it's relatively local to the thing that we came across. It's not too far. They're used to sort of hearing the call outs that the White Fist do. talk about how, you know, the area isn't safe, can't trust anyone, all the rest of it, and we've come along and shown them that that's wrong. It's time to put a stop to all of this. So the first thing on the shutdown and broadcast station is gain a local area discovery. So for suburbia or village, we have a well-guarded residence. So well, first of all, it is, I'm going to write down that it's afternoon. We have, let's see here, so local area discoveries would be well-guarded residence. There'll also be 2 other local area discoveries. So what else would be in the suburban area? Rather than, I'm not going to jump to the local area discovery page, I'm going to make something up. So I'm going to say there's probably, there's probably derelict buildings and overgrown parkland. So derelict buildings, overgrown parkland. So with this in mind, we are going to, well, let's set it up like it says. I'm going to quickly jump to the time zone area to check what that is. Isn't the link to that on this one, so I'll just jump to one of these. Here we go. So afternoon is awareness and scavenging. And then we have so each crew rolls a d6, increasing the difficulty by the rolled number. So we know already that our difficulty is increased by 3. So that's on top of this. So our difficulty as standard, let's quickly work that out. We have 4 people. Each one of them has a personality discovery. And we also have 1 hardship. So that is 4 plus 4, 8, 9. And then on top of that, we add the 3. So that is now 10, 11, 12. And then we are rolling a d6, which is 5. So that makes for 7. 17. So, yeah. 17. So we're also currently hidden. So that means it's high enough that we're going to be able to unlock some of the sort of later enemies that are going to be around. But it's not high enough that we're going to have vehicles, which is a bit of a shame. But, you know, maybe we'll be able to do that in future videos. So let's have a look here. Next thing we do, once this has been collated, create the encounter as usual through building combat situations. So we'll come back after we have done that. So jumping here, we've already got our local area discoveries. So we'll jump to our encounter creation. So we're looking to make 17 worth of enemies. So let's go with, okay, so guarded residence, and it's guarding a broadcast place. So I'm going to imagine there's at least 1 sniper. So let's put sniper down straight off the bat. Special is pinned down. There's 1. Okay. I think the next, it's guarded residence. What else would be relevant? Okay, we're over 15. So that means these are available. These are things that we can add because there's a minimum difficulty of 15. So I think let's make our lives difficult. And we're going to add ourselves an auto turret. So that takes 5 out immediately. So that's auto turret. Their special ability is spray lead. So that's now 8 used up of our 17. I think it would be probably worth adding some troopers. So we'll say we'll say there's 2. Well, I mean, there's 1 for now. I might be able to add another in a minute. Trooper. Weapon. Yeah. And then this seems like an important place. Let's add an officer. So what are we up to now? That's 8, 9, 10. Officer will add 4. Oh, I've got to show it off, really. Got to show off the Scout dirt bike. Yeah, come on, let's add that in. So we'll do the Scout dirt bike. Their special ability is fast. So what are we up to now? So that's 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So we got 3 more. So let's say, I think another trooper. And a civilian. So, quite a lot of different types here, which means that because there are 5, the minimum fight rating of all of them is now 5. That is, of course, unfortunate because, you know, it means that even if I just wanted to take out, like, the trooper or the sniper, they still technically have a fight rating of 5 because they're backed up by all their friends. So, yeah. But, you know, I wanted to show off the Scout dirt bike, so what are you going to do? Sometimes you've got to make it more difficult for yourself in order to show off your swanky new pieces. It's just needed. So, yeah, all jokes aside, we've got our setup. That's now done. We'll jump back to the broadcast station 1. So what's next? Next is you roll 1d6 to determine the number of dishes or antennas on the building. These may be assaulted, and if all are destroyed, the backup arrives consequence can no longer be activated. If you successfully leave the area, 3- moves via fleeing, then you achieve a halted transmission and escaped victory. So that's an option. So let's quickly add that. So we got antennas and dishes. How many do we have? 5. So great. So we've got 5 antennas. That's unfortunately quite high. That is not a very easy means of achieving a victory. Sometimes you roll really low and hey, you know, you've got less and you can knock out that quite easily, but this is going to be difficult. They got a lot of dishes and antennas stuck on top of this building. We don't know which one is the most important one. We just kind of have to take them all out if we want to stop the transmission. Separately, underneath, we now add 5 civilians inside the building. So we're now going to do, so inside we've got we have 5 civilians inside. Not ideal, but you know, they are the people who are operating the broadcast station, and if you breach indoors, which you need to do an expose move in order to get in, then yeah, they count as covered basically until you force your way inside by removing the armor attack, and you do that by doing the exposed move or by using a grenade launcher or something along those lines. So by forcing your way inside, you then have the ability to potentially capture those operators and get some really useful information, or I suppose you can just scare them off or gun them down, whatever you feel is relevant. And so yeah, finally it says once revealed, every move enacted by a crew, add 1 tally mark underneath this consequence. If a tally reaches 5, activate the backup arrives consequence. This is repeated every time the tally reaches 5 until either the transmission is halted or the encounter is over. So this is what happens on the big final missions. You have a difficult situation to overcome, and it has some kind of special issue going on that makes it particularly either unique or more difficult or whatever else. And in this case, it's that they have a direct line of contact to nearby backup. So, you know, once they know you're there, once they know they're under attack, they start calling for backup. They're like, "Oh, quick, come on, we're under attack. Get here!" And then your enemies start being rebolstered. You start having to add additional ones. You still choose what comes, but nonetheless, it's pretty difficult. So it forces us, once we're revealed, it forces us to move quick and fast in order to try and stop much more in the way of backup arriving. So we're just going to write it down here at the bottom. Backup. Backup arrives. So I'll do ticks down here at the bottom, and then that way we'll be able to see how close they are to more enemies arriving on the field. So the other side of the page is all about the grand finale. Once you've finished it in one way or the other, it tells you what happens. So now we just have our situation to deal with. So Sam, Arlo, Mali and Remington turn up, hidden away, you know, creeping around the buildings, a little concerned by what they see here. You know, this is not an easy fight. We've got an auto turret maybe set up on the roof, you know, deep checking for any particular enemies. It's automated, which means if we take out all of the other enemies, it stops working. But in this particular scenario, we still have the civilians inside, so that's not a simple thing. But it means we don't have to kill it, but it's also the highest enemy fight rating, which means that every single time the consequence of their special ability goes off, it's going to be the auto turret that hits someone. So if we don't deal with that quickly, we're going to get shot a lot. So personally, I'm thinking that's probably the way to start. I'm wondering if there's a way that we could maybe utilize our... there are derelict buildings. Maybe we can climb on top, dislodge something so that it falls off of the roof of one building and onto the auto turret. And like maybe there's a water tower. Love that. Maybe on top of one of these derelict buildings, there's one of those water towers. And if we creep up there and damage the legs, give it a push, maybe it will fall down, smash that auto turret. So I think that's what we're going to try and do first. We're still hidden right now, so let's have a look how we can get there. Arlo's got athletics. So actually, you know what? We just had that discussion. That's going to be Remington doing his awareness in order to try and strategize. This is what Remington's saying. He has awareness, which means that strategize, from what I remember, is that... Quickly jump to the... So, no, strategize is 3d6 with tactics, so as a result it is 2d6, but because it is afternoon, it gets a +1. So, nice, we get 10 and +1, that makes 11, so we quietly strategize. Nothing goes wrong. He notices, up there's the water tower, let's go get it. So, they start creeping around. Arlo is now going to use his athletics. And his athletics is going to be using his climbing picks to get up on this roof. So he uses his athletics in order to flank. He gets 3d6 and gets +2 because of his climbing picks. Ooh, not a great roll, but that is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 +2. So it's more than enough because of his climbing picks and because, you know, it was 3d6 instead of 2. So as a result, we're able to get up there. We're able to do that safely. Now we have the auto turret. We've got -2 from Arlo, -2 from the strategy. The auto turret is now down to just 1 fight rating. So this is us now in a perfect position. Arlo's managed to climb up the top. Remington's done the thing. So now who's going to do the job? I think Mali. Mali, who should really have the call for backup. So Mali has the call for backup. We don't need that yet. We'll see. Mali climbs up and is like, right, we're in position. We've flanked around him. We've got to a perfect spot. We know what we're doing. Starts, taking apart the the water tower that's on top of this derelict building. So now we're going to do. I'm almost tempted to not use the derelict building thing. We're literally rolling an attack, just a straight up attack, but we don't really need 3d6. It's only -1. We've got the +3 from the rest of us. So yeah, let's do it. Oh my god. Just gonna take that out. Just gonna. This does not go well. This does not go well. Oh, the 666. My luck peaked. Oh my god. Okay, so it isn't just one consequence, it's 2. We have 2 negative consequences. Let's just look. So I think, bloody hell. All right, we're gonna pick there's more than you thought, and I think we're gonna create a hardship. It really shouldn't be as tempting as it is, but it's really tempting to give Arlo afraid of heights after getting the climbing pics, just because it's hilarious. So they get up there. No, I always got the climbing pics. He's used to this sort of thing. I'm not going to be too mean. I think they get up there and Remington's like, whoa, oh, don't like it up here, and he's got heights make me dizzy. So they're all like, oh, keep it down, Arlo. No, keep it down, Remington. Hush. He's wobbling around up there on the roof there, and then they look down and realise there is in fact more than you thought. So you treat this as a backup arrives situation. This basically means that you effectively you are adding I think it's a d6. Where is it? So completely lost it. Oh yeah, it's over here. Cool. So you roll a 1d6 plus 1 per crew, and then you immediately create additional enemies of that rating. So we have rolled a 2, which means there's 3, which means they get to the top and they're like, oh, there's actually 2 snipers. We just couldn't see the other one from the other angle. Okay. Yep. So they are in there. So they get to the top. Remington has his little freak out at the top there. It's like, oh, I forgot I don't like heights. And then yeah, they can't deal with him, and also they're hesitant about making themselves too visible whilst on top of the thing. Since I've created a hardship, and since there's also more than you thought, I now have to become revealed with my next consequence. I don't get any other choice. I've created a hardship, which is 1 per crew, and there's more than you thought is actually you're going to use that once. So it's let's try that again, shall we? I'm going to roll those 2 dice again. Five and 2. We've got +3 on top of that, so that makes 10. We all take a break. A breath. We all take a minute. We wait for the opportune time, and then when we're ready and the snipers aren't looking, everyone gives that water tower a shove. Down it goes. Smashes onto the auto turret. So they, the troops all down there freak out. They're like, what the hell? What's going on? But we're hidden away. We're still hidden. I guess the water tower rusted, you hear people say. It crashes down, smashes into the auto turret. Terrible luck. Terrible luck. Definitely isn't some kind of guerrilla group looking to deal with the situation. So thank goodness. So we've got that done. It lowers the minimum fight rating down to 4 because we wiped out a line's worth of enemies, and there are now 2 troopers, 3 snipers, and a scout dirt bike and a civilian. So, that's. Did I miss? No, yeah. So that's 4. So we creep back down. We're like, okay, that's helped, but it's it's just 1. So what else are we gonna do? What else? So now that we've done that, we probably want to deal with the snipers. We do have the derelict buildings thing. Maybe we can get into this guarded compound by going down into the derelict building and like busting through and going through like a hole in the side of one of them. Maybe it's been badly patched up or something like that. So maybe we can do like a surprise attack on the troopers in order to try and take both of them out at once, let's say. So I'm going to say Sam is going to get creative. We've got a mental specialty, so that's able to be done. Sam's like, hey, let's go down the side. Let's see if there's a weak point in the wall and wait until the troopers come by. We can bust out, get them both at the same time. Or maybe we can drop something through a hole, attract them. Maybe we can be like, we can drop something interesting through and they'll be like, hey, you seen this? What the hell's this? And they both come over to have a look. And they can bust through the wall, kick their heads in. So how does it go with managing to get them together? Oh, Jesus. This is my normal luck. This is my normal luck. This is appalling. I can't apparently find the camera either. Just double one, people. Not go well. Right, well, I have to get revealed. So I suppose they go down to find this, little opening. Maybe there's a thin bit or something like that. And so we become revealed. We take another consequence as well because I rolled a double 1. And so as a result, it's all going horribly wrong. We become revealed, which ain't great. So what happens? What do we determine happens? I think we had to get Arlo. No, we had to get Remington down from our bit above. And he's climbing down the ladder to get back into the sort of the balcony where you get down in order to go back into the building. And it's a dilapidated building. It's kind of creaky and rusty. There's a creak, and he freaks out, and the whole thing crashes. He stumbles down the ladder. He's like, and they fall down, and immediately there's like, hey, what's that noise? And they start coming to find us. Like, shit, we've been blown. Okay, we gotta deal with this. There is no surprise anymore, and on top of that, because it is the first, we are revealed. We take our first tick because of the first action whilst revealed, and so backup is going to be arriving soon. They put out a call, you know, hey, we've got a situation here, send some backup, and they realised that the crash of the auto turret probably wasn't quite the accident they thought it was. So guns come out. Oh, we make sure Remington's okay. You know, it's all right, Remington. You're okay. He moans, "Oh no, I blew it." And we, yeah, now we have to deal with this particular situation. So I think probably now is the time. Now is the time to make use of that little sneaky bit that we said was probably down inside the building. So let's use Arlo's athletic specialty. Give us a benefit. Give us this way at least. If I roll all ones, at least it doesn't double. And now I roll really well. Wonderful, lovely. So yeah, Arlo's up at the top. So he's like, you know, come on, let's at least get inside. You know, we can take him by surprise by being in the middle of them. So we go down, and we get -2 on those troopers, and I think we're going to bust through the wall and try and take one out. So we go down. That takes a moment. We are going to bust through the wall. There's 2 of them. Their minimum fight rating is the same as what they are anyway, because it's 4. But we already put the -2 because we're going to be busting up through the walls. So we. Oh, nice. Okay, I actually rolled pretty well this time. So we've got 6 and 4, so that's 10 plus our 4 fight rating minus their 2. So as a result, we've rolled 12. We bust out of the wall. In fact, both Remington and Arlo have a pistol. So that actually means we get +2 fight rating on top. We're revealed anyway, so there's no point going in quiet. Yeah, gunshots ring. Down goes one of the troopers. Right. Yeah, cool. We're in. It's another tick though. We're going to have to move quick. We don't want to waste any time. Let's do it. Let's go for the other one. It's now down to, well, I mean, it's fight rating 0. So, who's rolled? Hang on, who's doing it? So let's say Remington went out because he went out with his full auto rifle. Should he use the full auto rifle? Could have gotten both of them in one go. Didn't even think about it. Forgot all about that. How annoying. That's all right. I've got my own new snipers. So we'll say, yeah, so Remington did that. Next up, Arlo will come in close behind and do another roll. Did I roll this? I can't remember. I'll roll it again. Arlo comes in close behind. Oh, double bubble! Hell yes! Okay, so we definitely take that out, and because it didn't have a third die or anything like that, we managed to succeed twice. There isn't another trooper, and there isn't something that's of the same kind of level, so it doesn't seem fair to take down a sniper just because. That said, it's double 6. Like, it would be well more than a lot more than that. I'm wondering if, you know, they burst through this door. They're kind of just going guns crazy. Everything's kicked off. I think probably, even though they're going to feel bad about it, the civilian goes down. Mali is known for not liking this sort of stuff. Very, very big heart is Mali. So I think probably she's the one that gets the guilt. So I'm going to say, oh, and Remington activated his, which should have applied the -2, but it was 12 before, that was still in a 10. So we're fine, actually. I forgot to add the -2. It was 12, it went down to 10, it was the same result, everything was fine. Yeah, and then this is double 6, way more than. I think that we, yeah, take out the civilian. Mali, what's the, where is the guilt one? It's a -1 penalty. Okay, that's not too bad. So, guilt, -1. So the things that Mali's involved in, Mali's pretty shaken up, like, oh god, we killed a civilian, like they didn't even have a gun in their hand or anything, like, feels really bad about this. So the actions that she is involved in now take a -1 on top of the -2 because Remington's still dizzy from the heights. Of course, the -2 only applies when Remington's leading it, from what I remember. I'm actually just going to check that because that's my memory. That doesn't mean that's what the rules say. And I'm doing a video, so I should really go by what the rules say. Let's see. So on all rolls that character makes or is involved with, and it's only a -1 actually. So that's not so bad. Is that what it says in consequences? Yep, -1. Cool. So that means that all of the team's actions when they're working together is rolling at a rolling at a total of -2. That's annoying, but it's dealable with. You know, we've still got all of our personality discoveries we can tap. We've still got 3 in fact, you know, areas of local area specialties, those things. So, yeah, we've had a run of luck, but backup's going to be arriving any minute now. We need to keep going and do it quick. So we need to take care of those snipers. I think we are going to... I imagine the scout dirt bike at this point is probably revved up and vroomed across. Maybe we should... So there's only 2 now, but the snipers are 6 because there's 2 of them. So as a result, I think it might be worth suppressing them, maybe get them to scatter. We're at a -2, so we don't really want to be trying to cluster them and getting like multiple done at the same time, and we can do that anyway with Remington's rifle. So as a result, it's probably best to scatter them. Maybe just go all in. Maybe just try and spray down those bloody snipers. Okay, let's do it. Let's make this happen. We are going to have Remington lead. We know that it's a well-guarded residence, so we know that there are going to be a number of choke points, things like that. So maybe as a result, we use those to our advantage. They hear all the gunfire, maybe the snipers come running, and we know that, you know, they're going to be using certain positions that they think are going to be to their benefit. But because we snuck in through the side, through the derelict buildings, as a result, yeah, we are able to sort of use their own choke points against them. They come running around the side with the guns, and we get 3d6 in order to try and use... Oh, and we're going to do the full auto rifle. And we're going to try and take out as many as we can. Come on! All right, okay. So we got 12, 14, So that is more than enough. So it's 5 plus, yeah, and then it's plus 3 for each. So that's more than enough to take out both of them. They come running around the corner, and Remington just sprays this machine gun out, and yeah, just takes both of them down in one go. Very good job, Remington. Excellent work. We used well-guarded residence as the area thing, so that's now crossed off. Can't use that again. But backup arrives. We roll a 1d6 plus, I think was it 1? Let me quickly check. It was 1d6 plus 1 per crew. Create a new group of enemies meeting that rating. So yeah, plus 1 per crew. I've rolled 2. I mean, yeah, we literally get, so it's 3. What turns up? Who was just around the corner? What enemy? Oh. Okay, I'm going to say either odds, it's a raider, evens, it's a flamer. Odds, it's a raider. So we're going to add a raider. Oh, I forgot. 3. There we go. So we now, there's a minimum fight rating of 2, but that's fine. They're both higher than that anyway. So this raider comes around the corner and sees this place in ruins. Like there is not a lot that that is remaining. It's just this scout dirt bike that's racing around. So yeah, but we see them come around the corner. And what are we going to do about it? I think it might be worth... I think it might be worth doing the expose ability in order to try and get the expose effect. Sorry, in order to try and get the door open for those civilians that are inside. Maybe then we can stop another backup coming. We don't want that to happen. Yeah, I think we're going to do that. So the others are kind of guarding Sam's back, but Sam is like, I got this. I've got big gloves. I'll punch this door open so hard. So we're going to do expose. 5 and a 4. So that is 9, which means we take a consequence, but we... Yeah, we take a consequence. Sam's at the top. But we do succeed. So, as a result, so these guys were covered. They now aren't. I should have added that before, but hey, you see how it works. So they're no longer covered. We have the door open, but unfortunately, let's have a look. What consequences are going to take? I think, to be honest, whilst the others are protecting Sam, the raider comes around the corner, will activate the ranked enemy's special ability, which... Oh, isn't the raider? That would be the dirt bike. Yeah, races through them, and they all become scattered. So yeah, the dirt bike charges through, scatters all the crew. They lose their +4 fight rating, and they're now pretty vulnerable. So I realised the 9 actually would have been a 7, but it's still the same result, so it's fine. So yeah, cool. So they are scattered. That's going to make things difficult in order to... Oh, and we do that. It's going to make things pretty difficult in order to get a hit in on any of the others, because our fight rating, anyone who attempts any assault actions or intimidate actions, they now only get fight rating of 1. So I think, to be honest, we're going to want to regroup. Awareness or command gets 3d6. So Remington is going to be like, pull it together, guys. And unfortunately, he is at a -2, but he is at least rolling 3 dice. So that's, yeah, great roll. Great roll. Good job, Remington. So he, these guys are pretty tight. They know what's up. The bike races through, they scatter, and then Remington sort of manages to marshal them all together again. And yeah, they are back together. Does that include? Yeah, that's right. That was the Sam one. Then it was Remington getting us back together. So do and do. Finally, we probably want to deal with that raider. So Arlo, how about it, huh? You've got your pistol. And Remington has his rifle. So we're looking at that offsets the negatives of Remington being dizzy and also Mali feeling guilty. So as a result, we are rolling 4 minus 3. So +4 minus 3. Oh no, let me re-roll that because there was not meant to be that. Rolled 4. And it's only +1, which means 5, which means we literally just get, it just goes bad. It just goes bad. Okay. There's nothing for it. We've used the highest ranked enemy special ability. We have to now use either activate an existing hardship, which makes our life harder, create a hardship, which I don't really want to do, backup arrives, which we're about to get anyway, so we don't want to do that either. I think Arlo turns to face the raider, and the raider lets out a burst of gunfire, and Arlo is hit. Now we're going to want to be careful from here, because if Arlo gets hit again, he's dead. So every time Arlo leads a move, he goes to the top, which means that we're going to want to be careful about when he does that. If a character is taken, it's always the one at the top. If the special ability like spray lead happens instead, then someone is hit, but you can pick anyone. So that's the difference between those. Nonetheless, we're going to want to be careful about Arlo now. He's going to have a hard time. Not to mention movement-based actions like flanking, which is what he's really good at, get -3 because he's trying to do it while he's hurt. But also things like things like fleeing and other stuff like that, they all take a -3. So if we were to try and run away now, regardless of the bike, which would the motorbike means they automatically will hit you if you're running, because they are faster than you. Arlo's unfortunately, taken a shot in the leg. This is bad news. He's not going to be as useful as he has been up until now. We're going to have to try again though, and I think Mali is going to go. She's going to go. We're all stronger if we work together. We're going to use all 3 dice. We're going to get rid of that goddamn raider. There we go, Mali. Just, it's a shame the doubles don't count for the 3 dice, I tell you. Nonetheless, the raider is absolutely, they're done. It's just the scout dirt bike running around now. We have one more until the backup arrives. It's gonna turn up no matter what we do. So I think it's probably worth trying to take out the scout dirt bike while we can. So we've used Mali's personality discovery. Arlo's been hit. We don't want to use him. We're going to go with Sam. My friends back home are counting on me. Actually, no, we're not going to tap that. We're going to use overgrown parkland. Maybe Sam sees the bike swerve through some of the overgrown parkland. It has to slow down in order to like deal with the more rough terrain. It sort of bounces over it and like skids. And Sam uses this opportunity to try and take it out. So it is, we've got the +2 from the weapons, the -2 from the guilt and that, and the Remington being dizzy. So as a result, it's +4 -4 from the scout dirt bike. Straight roll, and it's not great. It's 6, so it still succeeds. We do manage to take out the dirt bike, but we do still take another consequence. It can't be the character has hit one again. So we can't do the highest ranked enemy specialty because there isn't one. So we're going to have to create a hardship. Oh, I forgot. The scout bike is taken out, and that means... Where are we? I'm going to go up to the scout bike. All right. So here, when defeated, the rider loses control. So Sam hits the bike. You now roll a d6. I've rolled a 4. So 3 or a 4, it crumples into nearby scenery, create a local area discovery for free. So we get a new local area discovery because the bike crashes into something and maybe, I don't know, maybe it sets it on fire. You know, there's an oil leak from the bike and it sets it on fire. So we'll say, we'll say puddles of burning oil. Puddles of burning oil. Great. Useful. We can make use of that. That's the so the call for backup happens. We roll d6 + 1. Oh no, I rolled a 6. Okay, so I need to now add 6 worth of enemies. So we are probably going to have... that's the worst timing. All right, we're going to have another raider turn up. And this is what made us realise we needed another way to track individuals because, yeah, there's being able to add them on the end as opposed to having to add another thing because you've crossed out the entire line. Much better. So another raider shows up and we need another 3. So they are backed up by a sniper. Not great. Not great at all. I'm running out of stuff to tap and people are getting hit and it's all going a bit pear-shaped. So, a small aside, I recently learned that the term going a bit pear-shaped was about hot air balloons. It was a term from when people would more regularly use hot air balloons, and when there's a leak in it, instead of it having that round kind of thing, it sort of starts to taper in, and so it's all going a bit pear-shaped as a hot air balloon going down. There you go, fun facts with Laurie. Okay, so basically now we need to do something about this. I was really hoping the next one would be like getting the civilians to surrender. To be honest, it might be worth giving a go at it anyway. It's -2 per extra enemy type. So it's -4 to attempt it. And we're at... well, the guns at the moment offset the negatives. Oh, I forgot the consequence. I nearly forgot the consequence. So I'm going to have to create a hardship. Who am I creating a hardship for? I think Arlo. Arlo has been hit. He's not feeling good. He's feeling pretty bad. And we're going to say... we're going to say depressive in a crisis. Not a great talent to have, but you know, I say talent, not a great thing to have as a whole. But Arlo is depressive in a crisis. You know, he's been hit. There's more people coming around the corner. He's like, oh God, I don't think we're going to be able to make it out of this. And they're like, chill, Arlo, we're going to be fine. I don't know, man. I don't know. We're going to make it. It's not great. He's not feeling good. He's still on it. Hasn't been activated yet. But nonetheless, we have a hardship. We know he's struggling. He's been hurt. He's not feeling great about this situation. So with that in mind, we're now going to, I think we're going to have a go. We're going to maybe use the puddles of burning oil to intimidate the civilians inside. You know, that we're coming through the door, backlit by the burning sort of sound, the explosion of the bike happening. And as we all know, cool guys do not look at explosions. So as a result, you know, they walk in slow-mo, you know, guns and all sorts at the ready. And even though they do have backup outside, it's a pretty intimidating sight. So it completely offsets our fight rating. So we're going to use the puddles of burning oil one to try and make them surrender. Or at least try to escape. So we've rolled a 4, 6 and a 1. So 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And that's a success. So they are now trying to flee. If we intimidate them a second time, they outright surrender. Because they're fleeing, backup will no longer arrive. You know, we've managed to subdue them enough. They're not actively calling for help. They step away from the consoles. You know, that was who went in. Remington went in. Was like, oh, back away from the consoles, and they all sort of try and back off, and you see them looking for exits. They sort of start eyeing back doors and all that sort of thing. And yeah, Sam and Mali steps up and is going to let's say, I'm going to say is just going to do it. It's going to be at a -4. Oh no, it's just going to be 2d6. It's just at a -4. No, I don't think I can do it again yet. I've got 2 opportunities. I can try and take out maybe the other raider. I think that would be a good idea. So Mali is going to just do that. It's just a straight roll. We've got a 6 and a 1. That's 7. It's 8, but nonetheless, it's partially positive. They managed to get to a door, and they managed to get it open, but the raider at least does go down. So what consequence do we have? I think, to be honest, at this stage, Mali is hit as well. I'm going to take the character gets hit. Mali gets shot as she managed to poke out, shoots an arrow into the raider, but the raider gets off a spray of bullets and she cries out. So I think Sam is going to be... Sam hasn't yet used the "my friends are counting on me" personality discovery. So I think we're going to use that to give a full 3 dice. We're going to try and make those civilians surrender before they dash out that door. So Sam's like, 1 more step and none of you are getting out of this alive. There's no escape. So it's only -2 now because there's only 1 additional enemy type that's present, which means that with our 4 we add 2 to this result, so it's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 13. So they surrender. They're done. So the only thing that's left now is the sniper. There's no more backup arriving. It's time. It's time to make this happen. I think we're going to use the derelict buildings. We know the derelict buildings are there. Maybe we're gonna go out that back door, and maybe the remains of that water tower that fell earlier. You know, maybe there's like some other debris swinging and stuff. Let's say that Remington's going to lead it. But we're going to say, narratively speaking, that Sam is going to use the derelict building things to like shoot the signs off, and is going to like cause a crash that makes them look in another direction, giving Remington the opening. So we're going to... Oof! And it's really good we did. Really, really good we did. So that's... What is that? That's 6, 7, 8. The sniper takes off 3, so it's +1. So it's 9. Unfortunately, still take a consequence, but nonetheless, we do manage to take down the last one and complete the situation. We managed to take the place, and we managed to capture the civilians. So, what consequence do we take beforehand? I think we activate a hardship, to be honest. I think... Arlo's hardship activates. He's like, we should never have come here. We should never have done this. And is just useless now. But they're like, you know, it's fine. I got him. That's the last of them. And, you know, they make the civilians radio back like, oh no, it's fine. We got him. It's all in hand now. Everything's totally fine. So they stop sending him. And yeah, now we jump to the shutdown of broadcast station page. What page was it on? It was on... didn't run it down like a clever clogs. So, shutdown of broadcast station. We have... Okay, upon victory over the encounter, including the civilians inside, you sweep the building within for information and important messages. Roll once to see what you find, gaining free advantage if you use awareness, scavenging, or electrical. So, if any civilians are captured, you may also gain free advantage using command. So, we do gain free advantage because Remington has awareness. Alright, so we've got 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So, 10 plus. There's an entire laptop full of important documents here. And the password is password. This is going to be invaluable, and maybe even advance warnings of where they're going to attack. That should probably say maybe even contain advanced warnings. So I'll update that. You need to get this back to the hub ASAP. Reduce each crew's difficulty by D3 plus 2, and you also find some other useful items you're sure will help in the future. So you roll on the general equipment table and gain the results, all that sort of thing. So that's for like future missions. If you're looking to go with the same crew, you're like, you know, in the future we're able to go forward, and the difficulty is reduced by. So that's what is that? That's 2 plus 3. So it reduces the difficulty they start out by 5, which is important because, you know, in future missions you're adding the hardships and personality discoveries straight off the bat, and then further adding to them as you travel in the future as well. So you're learning more about your people, but you're also learning about what holds them back, and so missions become more difficult. So doing really well, starting with a reduced difficulty because you know what you're up against, can be really helpful in that way. So on top of that, you also find some general equipment. Let's quickly have a look, see what we get. We find 4. So we find a social specialty. You know, maybe, I don't know, what would be good for Remington? How would his awareness be boosted? We could always go silly. Let's say you find some glasses with the mirrors on the back, you know? So it's like sticking out like wings. Looks really dumb, but he's just like, no, this is gonna, I'll be able to see it whenever there's someone behind me. Yeah, genius. Good job, Remington. So you, so he gets that. I'm not going to mark it on there because I'm wrapping up. But the, yeah, finally, with anything important secured, you methodically go through the building and dismantle and take or otherwise destroy beyond repair anything they might have used to set this place up again. When the White Fist turn up to find out what happened, there won't be anything left to use. You've permanently shut down the messages in the area. Good job. Time to set off and apply the rewards from completing a mission. So, one of the options that we... also there's the captured operators here. You managed to capture several operators and they're certain to know vital information about the White Fist and Guiding Hand's operations. You may, if you feel up to it, immediately begin with the next mission to make sure they end up with the people who can get any info out of them. Doing this will result in extra rewards, but alternatively you could just let them go and head back. It's not like they can broadcast much from here after all. So this is an opportunity. You've captured the operators, you now have the ability to do escort vulnerable allies, and in the case of these ones over here, captured enemies. So, you know, this is a mission that leads on from the previous one. You fight your way through, you capture some civilians, and now you've got to get them back. So you can now play an additional mission, fighting your way back home with these people who are actively trying to escape. And that means that, you know, it's a struggle, but hey, if you get it back, if you get them back, then it's a whole bunch of extra rewards and things like that. So yeah, or you can just let them go and end it there. So that's why we fight. As you can see with the new changes, I think it's a lot more stable. It's a lot more fluid. You're able to really kind of utilize things like condensing enemies together, and by having the circles on the end that are who they are, you're able to kind of bolster those forces even easier, keep track of it without additional numbers. You've got much visual cues. I'm really a lot happier with it as a whole. Of course, even just by doing this playtest, I found additional things that I'd missed, but that's literally the nature of the game. It happens every single time I play. And yeah, so I'm really pleased with how this version has ended out. I hope you guys have a great time playing it. And we really, really want to hear from you. If you have played it, we want to know how it was. We want to know what issues you found. We want to know what you really enjoyed about it, so we can lean into those things more. And also, if you can help us in any way, please sign up to our backer kit. Our backer kit number is a big deal in terms of our ability to show a proof of concept, social proof, as well as proof of you know, a likely successful campaign. It makes a really big difference as a business, because it means that when shops look at those numbers, they sort of go, okay, well, this is obviously popular, people are interested in this sort of thing, I might be interested in sort of buying a bunch once you launch. And so as a result, you know, as a company, we're able to keep going, able to make bigger, better, and able to support the game for even longer, and that's what we want. We really want to do this game justice, because we think we've got a good thing going. So if you enjoyed this video, if you enjoyed watching me play, if you enjoyed playing yourself, if you just fancy giving us a hand, please do sign up at that backer kit. Otherwise, yeah, please do get in touch. I'm trying to run every month a weekly playtest like this one, but with more people. And so that way I can see different sizes of groups and things like that. Come jump in our Discord. All the links for these things will be in the subject of the video. So yeah, please jump into our Discord. Come join in with us. It's the third Friday of every month we're looking to do. So come jump in. It's going to be good fun, and yeah, I can't wait to get working on this next update. So please enjoy version 1.1, and thank you so much for watching. I had a great time playing, and I hope you do too. All right, so Cheers. Bye.